Shalom Tel Aviv, and that's Manishma, that's all I can say. I traveled from Prague, and when you go to a website in Prague, it says, don't travel to Israel. So I checked the UK website, and it says, don't travel to Israel. And you know, I did. And I'm extremely happy I could be here, because when I... I'm getting a little bit emotional. But when I speak to you and I see how much passionate you are about data, how you are trying to learn and develop in the extreme hardships, it's extremely inspirational. So I wanted to say, Toda Israel. People told me, when you go to Israel, show all the technical certifications. I'll skip them because you've seen them now. And let me talk about my love, and it's data. So my old love is data, my new love is Israel. But I spent last 10, 15 years in a data business, in an organization called Tableau. And we saw that the data were scattered, and what we wanted to do is to help people to see and understand data. Because according to economists, in 2017, they said, data is the new oil. That's great, right? We all have data. That means we're all rich. But over the time, I could see one repetitive pattern, and that was that the data were there. We all had more data than ever before, but the capability of organizations to use them effectively hasn't changed much. The data is still scattered. It's still everywhere. Let's be honest. It's in your CRM. It's in your accounting system. It's in your MailChimp when you're sending them. It's on your Facebook, Google ads. So you're extremely rich. But it's similar like getting the gold from the earth. It's not about being there, but how do we extract it effectively? And that's why I joined BooSpace, because BooSpace is about taking all your data and putting them in one place. But you have heard that before, right? That everyone's going to say we're the one source of truth. What is different about BooSpace is that we are an AI-native database, a Switzerland for data, really. So we don't try to take your data and adjust them to our database. We try to meet you where you live. So let's say you take your contacts, and they might be in one format. You put them in a BooSpace, and BooSpace automatically recognizes it's a contact data and creates a structure which is set for your contact, so you can start working with your data effectively. And it brings, we do have more than 2,500 connectors, and if you don't have it, you can connect via API, and similarly, you can send to 2,700 platforms. The magic happens in a BooSpace. You put the data in. What we do, we make sure that they're validated, that they're correct, that there are no duplicated, and that they're ready for you to use in AI. Because the most of the obstacles when people use AI is that their data is not AI ready. So we spent last 10 years building something which would be a natural native for your AI processes. What I mean in it is that you have one platform. It's not a static database, because static database requires you to spend lots of time on making sure that your data are ready before they go to the database, that your data, once they are in database, cannot be modified. We make the magic. So the future is now. We say imagine the future, but it's actually what we do in a BooSpace. So imagine that not only you would be able to bring your all golden nuggets into one database, but you also will be able to speak to your database in your native language, prompt the data. So here's an example. You could use Gemini, you could use Proximity, any chatbot you want, and you can analyze your data, you can prompt your data, you can get your data to be ready to serve you correctly. You can connect to Lovable, create a dashboard, and start prompting in a natural language. Because let's be honest, some of us are great data scientists, and you can program SQL, But some of us, like me, aren't. I want to interact with my data in a natural language. So typically, for e-commerce customers, this is where the AI starts being strong. So imagine, that your GEO would be optimized. What I mean, in the UK, 60% of people, now as I speak, when they search for products, they use ChatGPT, they use Gemini. And the searches are done now differently. People go, oh, it's a Valentine. I forgot the present for my wife. So what do I do? Like, give me quickly some present which is available. And the queries are done differently. So BoostSpace helps you using the geo-optimization agent to provide enough context so you would be the first who comes on top when it comes to AI-based searches. Dynamic pricing is the second one. Competition is tough, quick, fast. Once you get your data in the BoostSpace, you haven't changed them. They could be optimized. They will be optimized automatically for your geo. But how do you make sure that you're competitive in terms of price? So BoostSpace automatically reprices you as you need. You can say, well, I want to get the price to be 1% cheaper than my competition, and I only want to drop price if the competition has less than one product, or 2 products, 3 products, so you don't drop it too quickly. We help you to enrich your product, so it could be done in different languages. Sometimes you get maybe just the product number, and you need to develop the description. To develop the description takes time. And obviously, we get lots of other agents which would help you to hyper-personalize. But because stories are about examples, I'm too passionate. I could be speaking about it too much. But here's an example of a Rock Point, a Czech company. It's a 33 stores organization. And what they wanted to do, because they're selling lots of hiking equipment, they wanted to make sure that they're being found, seen, but also, because they go to different markets, that their product descriptions are done correctly. And sometimes they might have just EAN number, and that's it. They don't want to spend time on that. So we help them to enrich the data. Second interesting is the for camping. So for camping, again, is a reseller of camping products, and they wanted to go international. It's really interesting because in Europe, yes, we got euro, but you got Danish kronas, you get some other currencies, and they wanted to make sure that they're competitive on each of the markets. Could they manage it manually? Of course not. So we helped them to introduce the dynamic pricing, and that helped them to grow 100% in margin just by managing their prices properly and competitively. And by the way, it doesn't need to be done on your website only. It could be done on different marketplaces. So if you want to make sure that your products get into buy box in Amazon, you reprice it. But what happens then? We could help to make sure that once you are in buy box, that your price is competitive, but not stupidly low. So that helps with the margin. And the last example is big Sonos reseller. Their issue was that they wanted to introduce new products really quickly, especially around their high seasons. So that's around Christmas, back to school. And they only had limited amount of people. And they said, how could we make sure that we introduce the new products quicker? So typically, to introduce new product took them somewhere between 10 to 20 minutes based on the difficulty of the feed. We help them to automate their process. So with the same amount of people, they could introduce 3 times more products. More products, that means more revenue coming in. So on those examples, I hope that I managed to explain to you where I see the future of data, AI, and how we can help you to make sure that your data provides value and that your money doesn't leak. So I had 10 minutes, I still got 22 seconds. I want to give that 22 seconds to you. So there's a QR code. What I spoke about, we can prove it. So if you register for the first 20 people, I'm going to look at your website and send you analysis saying how you're doing on a geo, how you're doing on a dynamic pricing, and where we see we could potentially help you with your product catalog. Still 6 seconds. So that's all from me. Once again, thank you very much, Israel. It's absolutely fantastic to be here.